laundry room that we're working on currently. So we ran this the other day on the CNC. We're going to be staining pretty soon here, so we're just getting everything ready. So next step with these is we got to tape them off, mask them all off, and then we'll spray the stain on, spray them up, and then start installing. So as far as this company, we started in 1999, so 21 years ago. I got in it because I was building homes first. Went to Votech. From there, I was hired on with a building company that did quite a few homes, over 100 homes a year. Did that for a year and a half about. Was asked to start building cabinets at a cabinet shop that they started. That's where I met Tim, and ended up essentially many years later, we ended up building or putting this together. Fast forwarding 1999, we started making pretty much just doors for other cabinet shops. That was a lot of our initial work, and then slowly we progressed into doing kitchens and all the stuff that we do today. In high school, I took quite a few shop classes, but I also took drafting. I took mechanical and architectural drafting. So I took that actually from 7th grade all the way till I was a senior. So it's quite a few years. The mechanical, actually I probably use more today than the architectural, but we do draw our own layouts, kitchens and stuff like that. So the mechanical ends up being on the CNC, the architectural ends up being in the initial layout of all the cabinets. The drawing, we have to do that. We have to meet with the customers initially, set up a time, go to their home, measure, lay out a layout, and then that ends up going into a bid, so we have to sit down and write up a bid, so typing and all that stuff. A lot of emailing back and forth with the customers over the course of the project. Of course, building it, so we do that. We also have to, as you see right now, we're going to be staining. We have to install, so that's another whole process. I was initially going to go into drafting and going to designing homes and stuff. Just didn't happen. I ended up getting into the workforce right away. For me, it worked out, all these years later. It doesn't for everyone. So I would say at that age to, maybe talk with your counselors and different things like that and get a plan together, because of course school isn't for everyone. Everything that we do probably different than other shops do. So there isn't always a great place to go learn other than just getting into it, getting your hands dirty, I suppose. So we bring in through that door, come in, sheet stock goes to there, and then Tim has to break all the sheets up from the large pieces that they are into the individual parts, which you kind of see here and you'll see in the other videos. He does that on that saw, which I showed you how that one went. So that's kind of his end. Then once he's done with the sheet parts, then it goes to the CNC, and that's where it starts to manipulate by drilling the different holes for whether it be shelves or slides to put the slides on, for assembling the boxes themselves. We can do arches on that machine. Anything you can pretty much design and draw up, it can be done, because that particular machine is a pod machine. It has pods on it versus a flat table. There's different CNCs out there. Ours happens to be a pod, so we can come in from the sides. The machine will actually manipulate, and on a flat piece, you can come in and drill. We drill into the sides of our bottoms and tops, And that way, these fasteners can be affixed. Versus a flat table, they can take the whole sheet to it, set it down there, and once they program the parts in there, the machine will just cut out from, just on the top portion of it. But they can't manipulate it like we do from the sides. They have to have a different machine to do that. So with that machine too, you do need some type of background in drafting and stuff. So AutoCAD would be, that's what's in school, which is it's great to know. If you know AutoCAD, you can pretty much run that machine. So that was actually this box was what we were assembling. And if you go by the video, I actually did this piece backwards. So we have fixed it since. So yeah. So once it's assembled, then usually gets set off to the side, and then of course this particular job we put the individual boxes together, which you can see right here by the seam, the two different boxes that it would have been. So we try to put our cabinets together more so that we don't have to out on the job. So that makes it a little harder to put in, carrying and stuff, because everything's a lot heavier, but it works out for us. So the upcut saw, which I'm pretty sure we showed you with that too, it has the tiger stop on it, and that is so we can program in all of the parts. So for size, we can manipulate the lengths into smaller pieces really quite efficient. And again, that one comes up from it's an upcut saw, so the blade comes up through it. And the only thing I'm doing is basically just pushing a button on the underside of air switch to actuate it to make it work. So it, stress as far as versus a chop saw or any of that, you just don't have it. It just makes life easier. The green machine over there, the Powermatic, the planer is, I think, from the 50s. I think it's like 54 or 56. I can't remember exactly, but that's about our oldest piece. The edge bander, which, going back to the edge bander, you'll see how that works when we run the edge bander. It's for putting on the tape that you'll see how it's applied, I think, from the backside. So you'll be able to see the different components within the machine that do the job. Show you the sander. So we have a 2-belt. So when most shops have one of these. Ours is a 2-belt, and it's 44 inches wide. So the width, that's because a lot of the uppers, usually the largest upper is 42 inches, but we've done them as tall as 56 before. So the first one is called the planer, and this has a steel drum on it. So, and then the second one, which is more, this is a normal unit when you buy a sander. So this has a rubber contact. It actually, when it's running, instead of only having just the contact of the wheel where the paper goes over it, it actually widens out the pattern. So once this is actuated, it pushes this down, and now your pattern is this wide. I mean, we can start anywhere from like a vanity at $1,200 to, we've done projects as high as $100,000, and I think we've went over $100,000 one time, but that was after countertops, which were, I think the countertops were 30 grand for that job. So a typical job for us is the kitchen, the laundry room, and usually a couple bathrooms on a project. And usually that'll take us 2 days to install.